Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is brought to you by the Friends in Recovery community, a thriving network of individuals who are fighting back against the stigma of addiction. Join our hosts as they speak up about the real issues of addiction, treatment, and recovery. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, here are your Friends in Recovery.
Welcome, everybody, to the Friends in Recovery Podcast with Jersey Ed. I'm your host, Jersey Ed, along with my co-host, Basement Beth. And
no, Badass Beth now.
Badass Beth. Oh, is it Badass Beth now? It's the other side.
I like both.
We're going to take another vote, Badass Beth or Basement Beth. And Stacy is filling in for Bambi. Just a quick note, guys. I just need some prayers for Bambi and her family. She has some things going on, and she couldn't be with us today. And she's actually had to take a step away from all the Friends in Recovery stuff. So just keep her in our prayers, and she'll be back, and she'll kind of explain what's going on. So, and hello, ladies. And our guest this week is Sue Harrison from Kings Crusade. We're going to find out more about Sue and Kings Crusade. So stay tuned for some amazing recovery. And hi, ladies.
Hi.
How's everything going?
I'm in the dark today. Even though I'm Badass Beth, I look like I'm in the basement.
I'll be honest, I like Basement Beth a lot better.
I do too.
See?
It's a little edgier.
Yeah.
No, this is coming from a man that wanted to name our boat Stinky Stink. And he couldn't figure out why I didn't want to be on that boat.
But there's a story behind that. I just don't walk around saying Stinky Stink, okay? That's what I call my dog, my little dog. I call her Stinky Stink. So
you're in trouble this week because your wife is here, and I have a feeling that she's willing to unload all the information.
Because
I got the pause button on this.
yeah, we'll save that for the uncut version.
There you go. Exactly. So, well, basically, guys, this week I'm fucked. 3 women, my wife, and Badass Beth. Now I'm just screwed. I mean, I'm just screwed. So, and Kathy and Camden Kathy's on. I'm gonna get it from every end now. So, just to let you guys know, it is Courage Month here at Friends in Recovery. So April is Courage Month. So we try to base our speakers and our kind of questions over the week around courage. So if you have any thoughts or anything on that, just let us know in the chat. If you'd like to call us on the podcast hotline, it's 800-989-6504, or email us at help@friendsinrecoverypodcast.com. You can drop a line there. All this is non-emergency numbers. And also our website is friendsinrecoverycommunity.org, or email us directly. Beth and my emails are underneath our pictures. You'll be able to see those. Email us directly if you have anything you want to talk about. Sue, we'll get all your information at the end. We'll make sure it's all up in the show notes, and make sure that everybody can get a hold of you too. What else we have? Oh, hearts. It's heart time. Hey, Beth, guess what? Bambi is not here, so we get hearts.
No purple hearts today.
No purple hearts.
I gotta say, dude, if you love Bambi, you gotta give her purple hearts today.
Yes, exactly. We can't take advantage of her not being here today. That was pretty bad.
At the same time.
Yes. I should call my sponsor on that one, shouldn't I? Yes, I should. But anyways, no, yes. So Bambi, of course, is always purple hearts. There you go, Judy. Thank you for the purple hearts for Bambi. We have Beth with black hearts. Like, there it is. It's right there. You can't see it, but it's there.
It's in the basement.
That's it. It's in the basement. Yeah. Stacy is coming in with green hearts today, and Sue picked a red heart. And what did we say last week, Beth?
And all of our guests, they just choose red hearts. It's amazing.
They do. It's so crazy. They choose red hearts. So all that, look for those hearts, drop them in the comments below. You could put them in Facebook. The place that really counts, that we take the tally up and see who wins, is here on YouTube or any of the podcast places you listen. So drop those hearts there. I'd like to thank all of our donors who makes this show possible. And don't forget, Friends in Recovery is part of Friends in Recovery podcast is part of the Fire Network now. So go to friendsinrecoverycommunity.org to make a donation or find out what the Fire Network is about. And we'd be more than happy to talk to you about that. Guys, it's time for sober shout outs. And it's, that means we're almost to question of the week too. So, and that's a hard question of the week this week. So stay tuned. But sober shout outs is Sue, where we do a part of our show where we recognize people in recovery or people doing great things for humanity, whatever it is. So we're going to start with you. Do you have any sober shout outs?
Well, so for me today, who comes to mind immediately is my friend Scoos. And I've been posting about him a lot on my private page because he has 7 days clean today,
All right.
8 days clean. I'm sorry. Yeah, 7 days. No, today's day 8. And
All right.
somebody I worked with closely, one of the guys that couldn't get a day for I don't know how long. And when he reached that day, I post about him every day. Now I'm just so proud of him because we all know how hard those beginning days are. So I'm giving a shout out to Scoos today on day 8.
All right, Scoos, day 8. Congratulations. Keep doing it. It's you're halfway there. All right. And Stace, do you have any sober shout outs?
I do. I'm going to shout out to Jersey Ed, who celebrated 29 years on the 10th of March. And we've been together
Jersey
so
Ed.
long. I have no idea how he stayed sober through those years. To all the kids and the dogs. So thank you, honey, for staying sober and being my rock. And also, we have a friend in recovery, Stacy B, who celebrated a year the same day as Ed.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah. Congratulations, Stacy.
I know I'm missing a bunch of people, but that's who's coming to mind right now.
All right. Good. And last but not least, whatever your name is, something Beth, Basement Beth,
Badass.
Super Beth, Badass Beth, Bitch Beth. I don't know what the fuck, whatever we're going to call you now. Yeah.
For the day.
Yes.
I'm like, give a shout out to my husband who's been taking amazing care of me while the broken foot continues.
Oh,
Forever.
You not going to get away with this, Beth. You are not going to get away with this. So before you ladies came on, before we came on Facebook, Beth has a fucking peg leg. Okay. That's what she has.
I got it 2 days ago. So I'm stuck in my room, which is why I'm even darker than normal. It's why I don't have my regular background. I don't have my microphone. I don't have anything because I'm stuck upstairs. But I did 2 days ago. I got literally, it's called the eye leg, and you strap it on.
hold on.
Hold on. This is for another show.
Yes.
Yeah.
But I'm sure Camden Kathy's really digging it.
Yeah.
So, but it's really cool. So like I bet like the device goes like this, and then I bend my leg backwards so that my knee is in the peg, and then you strap it on right at it has a peg that goes down to the floor, which is like a foot, and I can walk around hands free. And I'm so grateful. Like my mental health has been so much better over the last 48 hours that even though today is a little difficult for unforeseen reasons, but I can get up and down stairs hands free. I can walk, I can drive, I can do everything.
Wow. Okay.
All I have to do is strap it on.
All right. So it is Strap-On Day here at Friends Recovery Podcast. So but one other question, Beth, have you ever strapped anything on from the waist down sides of a peg leg?
Kathy wants to see it. Camden Kathy wants to see it.
Wants to see your strap on.
And
Yes.
Judy is on. Judy's on, Sue.
Judy actually.
She found their way.
Yeah, Judy.
Oh, is that your mom?
That's my Italian mom who was
Uh-oh.
on my stuff. That was like, she's just a trip in herself.
No, she's
better
on
be
laughing
nice.
about the strap on right
Uh-oh, we
now.
better be
Yeah,
nice.
she comes- my mom can hang with the best of them.
All
She's
right.
great.
Okay.
And
I'm too old
today-
for this show, she said.
She's not. And I think Beth is Peg-leg Beth for today. That
Peg leg Beth for today. Or we could just go right to Strap-On Beth.
Strap-on Beth.
Strap-On Beth.
I like
That might be
one.
tonight. Strap-On Beth will be Saturday night.
you should have
And
not told me
Bambi's
that, Beth.
watching. Bambi's watching. She misses us. She says,
Oh.
I have to keep you all in line.
Yes, she does. Yes, she does. So, guys, real quick, don't forget our twice daily AA meetings on Zoom. You can find them on our website, friendsandrecoverycommunity.org, or go to AA Intergroup, and you'll find us there too. They're at noon and 7 p.m. Eastern time. Also, look for us on all of our social media under Friends and Recovery Communities. And don't forget to like, subscribe, share, comment, and also check that little bell so you get that ding when all the strap-on talk comes out. So so make sure you get that.
Bambi, I just want you to know that I've gone from Super Beth to Basement Beth to Badass Beth to Peg-leg Beth all in one show.
And
No, to
Beth.
Strap-On Beth.
No.
Oh my God. All right, guys. So here it is.
Question of the week.
Question
Of the week, guys. And it's the big part of the show everybody waits for. I get emails. I get millions of emails about question of the week. No, I don't. I get no emails about question of the week, but maybe one day somebody will question me about question of the week through an email. So the question of the week, guys, is because it's Courage Month, because Sue had the courage to come on here with us goofballs and tell her very important story. Okay. After it will get serious after this. So, but it is Courage Month. So the question of the week is, what is the difference between courage and survival? What is the difference between courage and survival? That's one I had to think about. And it's a tough one. So it might, you guys, if you don't have an answer, that's okay. If you want to kind of explain, it's okay, whatever the case may be. But Sue, I'm going to turn it over to you first to give us what your thoughts are on what's the difference between courage and survival.
So the answer at first, I had to think about it, but actually the answer kind of came to me quickly and organically. In my opinion, courage comes from within. It's an inner strength. It's something you have to grab from yourself. It's having faith in something that you don't know. Mm. It's throwing a Hail Mary in the air, doing it. And survival, in my opinion, is more of your outward self. It's a technique. It's maybe avoidance, things you avoid just to survive. You're not depending on that inner self within and your courage. You're in survival mode. And that's, to use the same word in it. But so to me, I kind of see courage as something inward that you have to pull from, and survival is outward. And the challenge, meeting them somewhere, making sure those survival techniques are kind of meeting where you are in your head with that courage and putting it forward. So
love that answer. Very, very good. Very, I guess you thought about that one.
I didn't have much time, Ed, but
no, you did not.
I'll tell you, it came, like I said, it kind of came quickly.
All right, good. Well, it's a great answer, and there's no wrong answers here, guys. It's what it is to us. So, Stace, since you're our guest co-host, what is your thoughts on the difference between courage and survival?
So mine is a little different than Sue's, because I feel that survival is sort of like a gut instinct. And when you're in survival mode, it's something that you just do. It's an automatic. Automatic. To get you through something, and you don't even know. It could be a bad reaction, a good reaction, but you're just doing it because it's gut. Where the other one, and courage. I know. I don't know why I can't see that name in my head today. Courage. I feel courage is like, you think about it, you're like, you know what? I'm going to jump out of an airplane. I'm just going to do it. Where survival is like, I got to get the F out of the airplane because somebody's chasing me, and you just go. You don't even have time to think about it. So that's kind of how I see it. It's a little bit different, but I definitely see, Sue, how you see it as well.
A quick question. What does F mean?
Fuck.
So I had to be a dick about it. Beth,
Honey, it
what did
doesn't take much for you to be a dick.
Gee, thanks. I take that as a compliment.
Yeah.
I love those two answers too. You're right. It's, a gut instinct where we, we're in survival mode, and courage is something that we may push ourselves to do, may train ourselves to do, marathons, jumping out of airplanes, whatever it is, Bambi doing a 50-mile kayak trip down the Delaware River in August. All right, Beth, I'm just waiting for the comment to come by on that one. Beth, how about you? What's the difference between courage and survival for you?
So I love what both of the ladies already answered for like, and just by processing. So I had a hard time with this question because I was just like, it's a visceral kind of question. Anyway, after hearing what both of these ladies had to say, it kind of comes across as though survival is an instinct and courage is a choice. Like and I've done both, and I'm, years into recovery, and I still experience both, where, especially with my foot, survival is, I'm not going to die. I'm going to do whatever I have to do to not die. Right. Survival is the bar is super low, right above death, survival, death. But courage is, what can I do to make it better, to make it bigger, to make it bolder, to make it more? Am I going to choose to narrow out of life? So for me, like getting the eye leg or my peg leg was courage for me.
Strap on.
Getting my strap-on leg was courage for me. Leaving the house alone, right? So for me, since I broke my foot, and this is my current experience, for me, since I broke my foot, survival was staying home and taking care of my foot. For me, courage is getting out of the house and going to a networking event and seeing people out in the world. And what's interesting is that, because it's so current for me, right? I got sober decades ago, and survival was not picking up a drink. Courage was going to a meeting. Seeing what else I could do. Today, survival was, don't re-break your foot. It's already broken in 3 or 4 spots. To me, today, courage feels the freedom comes from the courage. So that I could ramble on forever about this, but it was a great question, Ed, and it had it had some depth and weight inside my core today. So thank you for that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And you know what? We can apply this probably to every part of our lives, past, present, and future. That's kind of how, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to bring this question up. But real quick, Bob, our runner in the group, Bob M. Survival is an instinct, doing whatever the fuck you have to do to exist. Courage is the ability and the strength to get yourself out, get the fuck out of the darkness and survive. With God and sobriety, anything is possible. And that is true. He gave you a black heart, but he has black hearts too. So, but it's true though. It's to get out of the darkness and move into the light, I guess, and not surviving anymore. So to me, guys, I'm going to just sum it up in 2 words. One, courage means faith to me, and survival is fear. So when I'm in a courage position, right, I'm running on faith, because I decided to jump out of that airplane. I decided to go, that kayak trip. I decided to do that ultra marathon, whatever it was. That's the faith I had to put in myself. I had to put into people I'm training with. I had to put into the information I got, the equipment, the gear, whatever it is. That's the faith I have to put into it. But survival, okay, to me, can come at any moment. Like Beth, survival, when you fell and broke your leg, you had to figure out how to walk the fuck up the steps, call 911. That's survival. To me, I don't think I think it just comes as an instinct.
Yeah.
Right. As an instinct automatically comes. I can't tell you how many times I was in survival mode out there when I was using, right? There was no faith. I didn't have faith in my drug dealer. I didn't know if he was ever going to be there. I didn't have faith that the bar was going to close at 2:00 and not 1:59. There was no courage out there. I was a wimp, and I was running on survival and fear when I was out there using. Hands down, that's what I was doing. So that's kind of what my thoughts are about those two. Do we have any more comments? Bambi totally agrees with
With me.
with you, yes. And also Judy agrees, courage is faith inside. Yes. Okay, guys. This is a great question. Well, the show's over, guys. Thank you very much for, no, I'm just kidding. Enough, right? Oh my God. Well, thank you for those questions. And guys, comment below if you're listening to this, or if you want to, email us, let us know, or give us a call what your thoughts are on what is the difference between courage and survival. So now we want to get into our guest. We want to introduce our guest, Sue Harrison from Kings Crusade. And we've been bumping her around, trying to get her on the show, canceling here and there. So she's finally on. She comes on Courage Month. And my guess, I want to hear your story. I want to know what Kings Crusade is about, because I really don't have any idea. I know you were on Stacy's family meeting on a couple months ago, and I was like, yeah, let's get her on the show and let's figure out what it's about. So without further ado, can you tell us a little about what Kings Crusade is, Sue?
Yes. So, and thank you. And I'm so glad we're able to solidify this date to do it. I know all of our schedules are so busy. We're not different from each other in that way. So Kings Crusade was co-founded by my sister and I in 2017 after we lost our brother King. A lot of people ask me, in the beginning, is Kings Crusade a Christian group? Is it this or that? And I say, no, my brother's actual birth name was King. So wow. King was our brother who passed at 49 years old in my sister's home. My sister found him October 29, 2016. His story is on my page. And, I won't go into a lot of that. It's not unlike many others, broken back, Oxycontin to heroin, basically. So we decided, as being family members, that, what were the resources for our brother throughout his addiction? And especially later on when he really was struggling, being indigent, he didn't have insurance. He was living either at my house, my sister's house, motels up and down, the Route 73. In New Jersey. And what did we do? It was important that we immediately became a resource for those families like ourselves who needed to know where to turn when they had a loved one struggling. And it just, we started out doing an expo in 2017 in our middle school. We lined the hallways with every possible anyone advocate, treatment center, sober group, whoever you were that was somebody doing something, you got an invite and you were at the expo. We had speakers and we just continued to grow and network. For me, I don't have all the answers. I learned all the answers from everybody else, and just from going with what I have felt through the last 6 years of letting Kings Crusade kind of watching where it organically grows, and it's grown leaps and bounds. But I surrounded myself with the network because I need people to help me with the answers I don't have. So today, basically, my sister is on another venture right now, and she's a huge supporter of Kings Crusade and a business mind for me, very much in the background all the time. So is my mother, living through a pain that no parent should ever have to live through. I don't want to think of it. I have 2 teenage boys. I can't imagine. So,
and I agree with you on that, Sue. The thinking, and Stacy and I have kids, and Beth has kids, and I couldn't imagine that. Parents are supposed to, children are supposed to bury their parents most of the time. Not because of this crazy drug stuff going on. You know what I mean? And it was never in the cards, I'm sure, for your mom to do this, or you and your sister to be where you guys are at today. But I'm glad something came out of it. This wonderful, kind of awareness of what's going on out there. There are people that lose people and they can't handle it, but there are people that do what you do to make sure that the next person can survive that. And that's amazing what you're doing. I want to know a little bit about your brother. Tell us what kind of a person he was, so we know what the background is for this, kind of what's going on.
He was 49 when he passed, but growing up, he was somebody who battled, he wasn't supposed to survive at birth. His battle began at birth. He was teased over his name in school. Teachers would even tease him. He struggled with, back in the day, they called it hyperactivity. Today would be ADHD, learning, disabilities, what have you. And, he was always a strong person. He had an intelligence that he could talk about any subject or any current event. He literally had the IQ of a genius. But of course, as we know, he had that something about him too, that he loved pushing things to the limit. He did anything for an adrenaline rush. He was training to be a Navy SEAL. He passed Hell Week, which is one of the hardest things to go through in the Navy out in San Diego.
Wow.
But, he had that little something inside of him too. So everything he did, he took it to an extreme, and he was so intelligent that sometimes he had his own way and beliefs of how he thought things should be done, and he stuck to it. Which some people might say made him difficult, but he was an extremely lovable. He was not only a father, he was an amazing brother and son. He was always involved in my sister and my life with our children. He wanted to know what was going on in your life. He called all the time. He wasn't like the brother that you never heard from. He loved family. He loved to cook, and he was handsome. He just, he's greatly missed. It's my journey being a sibling, it's kind of the same. Like, you lose someone who's a best friend, you lose that person that, yes, you think you will lose your parents and bury them together. And when you lose a sibling, you lose that person that you're supposed to go through your life with. My first photo that I took with my sister at, Thanksgiving after he passed, which was not even a month later, standing there, it's just, we're two now, and of course we'll always be three, but we're two. It's that loss that unless you've really gone through it and understand, and we were just, my sister and I were always advocates at heart. We've always had a passion. This has always been a passion of mine while my brother was struggling. And just something that no matter how hard the days are, taking calls all day long from people struggling, from families, my connection with families is just as big as my relationship with the recovery community, which I couldn't feel more loved and supported. And the feeling is absolutely mutual. Grieving parents, I do a grief group, I do a family group. These moms have become my friends. I have a very deep connection with them, because who loves the moms? There's no greater love than your mom. So who is nurturing and loving a mom when they've lost a child?
Yeah.
Sue and Step and all the other people that I surround them with, because they need love and they need support, and they need a space to speak where they can feel accepted, because a lot of your friends and family fall by the wayside.
Yeah. So you were talking about family connection. First of all, there was no talk about him being, using drugs. I mean, we never as addicts ever expect ourselves to be whatever position. You're dead, alive, in recovery, not in recovery, homeless, in jail. We never expect that. We never expect, when I grew up, I didn't want to be an addict. I didn't want to be, I didn't want to be an alcoholic, but here I am, and thank God I'm in recovery. But, it sounds like he was an amazing guy. It sounds like a guy I would hang around with, I'll be honest with you, with all that crazy stuff. I love doing all that adrenaline stuff, more of the endurance stuff, I'm guessing, as me, but family connection, I guess that's really important when it comes to something like, a death in a family of a loved one, an unexpected death. And Stace, I know you're here as far as that you do a lot of family stuff with Friends in Recovery too, but talk about the family connection and how that helps the families, somewhat heal or gets them in the right direction of maybe kind of doing either what you're doing or move on a little bit in their lives, if you don't mind.
Yeah. So the families, I help on two different levels. So, of course, because many of the times it's the family member reaching out for a loved one. I'll speak with them because I want to support and I want to help them, and I want to surround them with other family members and parents who are on their same journey, whether it be come on my group, come on the page. If you need something that you need to speak about, I'm going to have people support you because they've lived it. I feel that unless the families, because you're kind of like, you don't have a rule book for this, you're kind of going through this blindly. You're thrown into something. You're picturing your child as a baby and bringing them up. And then one day you don't know who they are anymore. And, the shame and guilt that goes along with it. One of the things that I strive to do through the family connections and through my weekly family group is that I have people in recovery that not only are there to support the family members, they're there to share their view, share their struggle, kind of enlighten the families as to what their loved one is thinking, because it's very big. And I'm this way as a person, like to understand. And even though you might not be able to fully understand because you're not in that person's head, the more you can kind of see it, hear it from another person, because you're not hearing it from your loved one. There's not that tension. There's not the fighting or arguing or isolation.
Mhm.
They can hear from my friends in recovery too. And what's funny is that you could hear a pin drop on these groups, and the parents and the loved ones and girlfriends and, fiancés are like, wow, I never thought of that. I never thought of this. Because if you can just grasp it a little and suspend taking away the emotion, you're angry at them, you're resentful for things they've done, just try and suspend it a little and hear someone else speak about it. It helps them so much. And it's very, very important, that people, they're normie friends, the parents' friends, the loved ones, like people don't get it. What are you doing? You should do this. You should do that. Or friends who step away, like nobody knows what they would do. Like you don't know. And that's why our world becomes such a tight connection with all of us, because we're depending on each other for those answers and for those support.
Yeah. And it's kind of like AA, I don't know exactly what Beth has gone through in her addiction and vice versa, but we can identify with each other and we can help us move through whatever that could be. And I guess that's, Stace, this is for a question for you too, because you run the family group, but, I guess that says true for the families too, let's help support each other. Because, maybe a family doesn't understand, get over it, maybe a family didn't lose somebody, get over it and just move on with your life. And, it's you just pray that he's in a better place. But you could take it a step further, but like what you're doing. And also, some people just can't get over it. Some people have to, they need that group setting and understanding that there are the people out there that are going through the same thing. Basically, I'm not alone. And I think that's so important to understand that. And I think that's where the healing starts, knowing you're not alone. You walk into a room, you're like, holy fuck, there's 15 fucking people in here. And they all have the same thing I have in common. If that's recovery, if it's family, whatever it is, you can identify with them the minute you walk in a room and you see them and you connect with them without even saying anything. I feel that in AA. So can you guys talk a little bit about that, Stace and Sue?
I agree with Sue. I feel like it's people step away because they just don't know what to say. It's so hard to say the right thing when somebody passes away in any situation. It's so hard to say the right thing, and that's where you start. You can lose the closest person to you just because they don't know what to say. But sometimes the best thing that anybody can do for someone who's lost them is just hold space for them. They don't even need to speak. I know that there's a lot of stigma and there's a lot of shame. I mean, I have a very, very close family member who is struggling with addiction. And, my family, their parent didn't reach out to me because there was shame. There was shame about it. And then finally, after like the second time of treatment, they finally let me in. But there should be no shame. And I think that people feel shame all the time when there is active addiction. And that's the saddest part, is because holding that shame can ultimately end up with grief and loss. And there shouldn't be any shame, whether it be mental health or whether it be addiction. That's what I feel. I mean, my loved one support meeting that I do, we don't have that grief and support aspect to it, because anybody who's ever lost anybody doesn't come back on the meetings because they just don't feel like they're in the right spot. So that's why I typically will always encourage people to go over to Sue's group on Facebook or Sue's meetings. I encourage it all the time as a grief support group.
Thank you. I see that. And it
You're
is
welcome.
because I know the group that I was going to with, I had brought my brother over to Parent, which is another local nonprofit near me. Amazing women, started out of love for their 4 children. And, after my brother passed, I tried to go back, and it was almost playing with my head that I felt I could have done this or should have done that, but my chance was too late. And, that's when I really found I'm just somebody that when I think and I see a need, I do it. And that's why I have I have 2 separate Facebook pages. Everybody's invited on the one main one, but I have grief separate, and I'm very funny who I put on there. People, well, I lost this, or I know, or I'm watching someone, not the same, not the same. They're breathing. They still have hope. You have a chance. You can't come on this group unless you've lost. So I treat it very differently. I'm funny with people who interact with them because it's as sensitive. I'm protective of them. I love them. I mean, my one friend, Justin Chigolini, his mom is doing a benefit for us next week up in Patterson. And Justin was a good friend of mine. The morning Lucille called me, they didn't know where he was. She was up in Patterson. Sue, I'm headed over here. I was on my way somewhere. She called me and she was at his house and she said, he's gone. I literally made a U-turn at the Walt Whitman Bridge and I went there. Justin was still up cold in the bedroom, and I was there for her because I love her. I loved him. I was probably one of the last people he spoke to in the middle of the night. I knew he was struggling, and I'm protective of them. And I am not a mom who's lost. I don't know their pain. I know from watching, I feel pain. I've lost in a different way. So the general grief I get, and the fact that they've welcomed me and looked to me for that, it's an honor to me. It's an honor that these ladies want to hold space, like Stacy said, for all of us and for me. And sometimes we go on and it's not all, sometimes we talk about the crazy things they did that anybody else would be like, holy shit. But sometimes we're talking about it and we're laughing like, can you believe he did this? Can you believe? And Christmas time, we were talking about the Italian cookies we were making, and we were kind of giggling because we find laughter in it too. But, and it might be a different thing they're dealing with that week. And they each hold space for each other. Like, it's just a beautiful, beautiful thing.
Yeah. And it sounds, I mean, you guys have, like things in common. So you can talk about, Christmas is probably hard and holidays and birthdays and all that. But, like Bob said here, that one of the best things I've learned is to relate, not compare. So you guys, I mean, I know we do it in AA. I identify with people, not compare, or I should have done this or should have done that. And I like how both you and Stacy, Sue, you and Stacy were talking about the grief and family. I never even thought about this, and Beth, chime in here if because if you want, I've never thought of that. A family member who loses somebody may not be able to go into that family group anymore because the loved ones are alive still. It might hurt to hear them, oh yeah, I just found me overdosed, but he's alive again. So I love this grief group. I mean, I know there's grief groups out there, but I never had use for them. Thank God. I hopefully I'll never have a use for a grief group, but it's just amazing how we go from one to the other in a blink of an eye, but there's support out there. And thank you for doing that. It's just amazing. Beth, do you have anything to say on that as far as that goes?
I'm overwhelmed. I'm so overwhelmed by this. And I think you hit the nail on the head that in a blink of an eye, I am an advocate for harm reduction. I'm an advocate for recovery. I'm an advocate for treatment. And, I come from a place of, I will go to any lengths to help people not die. And I have met with a guy, his name's Tom Dwyer. He also has an addiction grief group up here in Union County. But like, I don't know, like all of a sudden, like just hearing you kind of share in more depth, Sue, like it kind of like brings me to tears because it's like, this is the black of the black and white of addiction. And this is what we are all fighting to avoid. And there's definitely like a Chinese wall inside of my core that has never come to this side. I'm on the other side of the Chinese wall right now, and I'm kind of emotional about it. You know, I'm working a case this weekend, and it's not even substance use, it's mental health. And, you know, this guy just does not get what's on the other side in the blink of an eye. And, you know, my job is to keep them on this side.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you do, Sue, I'm very grateful for your purpose. I'm very grateful in a very deep way for what you do. How do you sustain the group? Like, you know, you just said that you're having a fundraiser. Like, what is the fundraiser for? Like, what does that look like?
So I do, I mean, in general, so I'm a 501c3 nonprofit. I am 100% donation based. So on top of the things that I do, I have to rely on myself, creativity, other people to raise for me. So I can continue to say yes to sober living, to transportation when people need to get to treatment, if somebody needs food, if somebody, you know, like it doesn't matter. But my main thing is sober living and transportation. That's where my money goes towards, and throwing big events, you know, where I bring the recovery community together and offer like, hey, you're getting a barber cut, you're getting this, you're getting that. The groups, so basically my friend Lucille, who was Justin's mom, she's doing a dinner. She's Italian, Cigolini. We're gonna eat like you can't believe next week at the Brownstone, which is where the Manzos from the Housewives own. I'm not only excited to go there, I'm sad why I'm going, but Lucille knows I'm excited to go and eat and see that too, and she is too. But so she's having a dinner with literally soup to nuts, and she has over 150 people coming already. This is like a private thing for her friends like that are coming. They have the dinner. The Brownstone is working with me. They're giving us an amazing rate per head. People are paying, you know, $65. That's nothing to come eat literally soup to nuts, like every Italian specialty you could want. She's going to have auction baskets, raffle baskets. I do have, you know, I'm licensed in the state of New Jersey too, to run any kind of auction, raffle, doesn't matter. So it helps, because if I walk away with what have you, I'm able to give, you know, the sober living call, like money for sober living, move-in fees are endless. I have a main line, and it normally rings to my cell phone, but by now everybody knows my cell phone, my messenger, my Facebook, they're constantly all day. So I have my main line go to somebody that I like to refer to as like, they're Kings Crusade alumni. They're my squad. They're people I've helped come in, help me. And in order for you to keep it going and to give back and help, I'm going to put you in service. You're going to help me with calls. You might make follow-up calls. You might help me plan my event. You might come do anything. You might come represent a table at an outreach, something for the county. Like I've done those tables, national night out, this, that. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to, because I love to see everybody. But if I can't, I have people that are going to speak to my own testimony of why this was created. And it's about us. I love the people and the families. I have moms who went up to the DEA family summit for those who've lost. I wasn't able to go. It was my son's 16th birthday. But I had 3 of my moms go up and represent Kings Crusade and represent their sons. And, you know, today they have this, the DEA has a exhibit at their national, it's a museum, but it's their building in Arlington, Virginia, where, you know, my brother's face and other parents of my faces are on this wall, the DEA with the plaque, you know, we're going to all set up a date to go together as a group, you know, and that's how we get to see our loved ones, as a face on something, you know. But
I like what you're talking about, a group here. You know, we're Friends in Recovery. We're 501c3 too. We run on donations and, you know, all that stuff. And, you know, at first I think, okay, well, Stacy and I can do it ourselves. We can't, because we want to help as many people as we could. So you put an army together to do this. This is fascinating. And, you know, to get the word out, something that you believe in, something that is near and dear to your heart, something that you're going to, not just one person out there making a difference. You got a whole army of people making a difference for this crusade. And that's amazing. We talked about, you know, your brother, who he was, what happened to him, where you guys are. And, you know, I want to hear the good things now. You know, I know you're doing a dinner. I want to hear some of the good things that this produced in the past, 5 years, 6 years that you've been doing this, there has to be good things that came out of this. We talk about the bad, the death, the this, the grief. Let's talk about some good fucking shit now, okay?
Dodgeball? Can we please talk about dodgeball? Because wasn't it you that
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's me. So my so I call it Recovery Wars. I'm pretty much like, I don't know. I used to love to put pictures together and put fun words as a kid. I don't know. I probably should have went into marketing. So like, I love to kind of be creative, but through, I do different various events. I did a karaoke thing last week with a bunch of people in recovery. I had Tony Luke come out. It was amazing. But my biggest thing that I've been doing since 2000, we started with the expos 17, 18, had Tim Ryan, had Brandon Novak. This is a plus that I have met some amazing people. I've met friends through my journey. This is one of the things I'm so blessed. But since 2019, I've been doing a dodgeball Recovery Wars tournament. And basically what I do is I bring together, because I have to fundraise. So I bring together, I have a sponsorship packet. I get treatment facilities, sober houses, anybody who wants to put together a dodgeball team. I've had consistently almost 36 teams. Last year we had some cancel, it was 32. I had the Camden Metro PD come out. I put a cops versus criminals team together. They didn't really want the logo out there, the cops, but I was like, well, this is how I operate because I am really rogue with how I do it. So I had like the handcuffs. I had the Camden Metro cops versus PD. My Kensington team whooped the Camden Metro PD's ass.
You hear that, Camden Kathy?
I had an NA versus AA team, and people were like, oh, you can't do that. I'm like, oh, yes, I can. And guess what? I had 3 guys, whether it be, from the IDRC and the whole reentry program. I had 3 people doing barber cuts, fresh fades. My DJ from Enlightened Solutions, who I met him years ago, he was their DJ, Jack Friedberg. Let me tell you, DJ Jackie Bull, every team gets to come out to a song. I don't care what it is. The music's blaring. They walk out badass. I have a professional photographer.
Wow.
I have a limo ride for the winning team. Last year, was, oh my God, who is my winning team? Stop the Heroin came second. This is because my mind's crazy. The week before, 1 year was Vic Bay, 1 year it was Footprints. Last year, they're going to kill me, but I can't waste time on that right now.
That's okay. No, that's okay. We'll put it in notes.
A ton.
I want Friends in Recovery to be part of that volleyball thing.
You have to. I mean, they get a table. I make a beautiful color booklet as a resource booklet, some QR codes, read about us. I put photos of all my friends in their Kings Crusade hoodies. It's there that people do memorial pages. The county sponsors that, they pay for that for me. I have to pay school fees, stuff. So I have to raise a lot to do it.
Yeah.
Working on another big one this year. I'm waiting to solidify we're hoping September 30th. I have another bigger entity who wants to come in. Somebody recommended me to NJEA, which is a huge teachers union. They want me involved in this and that with their families. They want to do this. So it keeps growing. And honestly, like, I have found that the more realer I become with my story and my journey and things that have happened to me throughout, I've been, since my brother's death, I'm divorced. I'm a single mom. I've had, death of people I've loved. I can create my own chaos and wreckage. I have my own recovery and my own. And I think it's why people connect, because I'm a real person. I don't share my struggles. I don't care. And I feel that the more real I become, people just happen to like gravitate to me anymore, because I don't need to be anybody but me. And I think that people connect with me and connect with my cause. And honestly, when I look around, and I don't care who agrees this, that, I'm not about putting, anybody in political figures up to speak. I don't need them to draw a crowd. Like, I don't want to hear, nobody wants to hear that. You want to hear the real people talk. That's who I'm interested in, that love from that community. And the love we have for each other. Seriously, relationships I've formed. This is the greatest thing that's happened. And the fact that people send me, I'm behind a truck and it says King, I'm on King Street. People see his name, they see whatever. A guy that I've helped last night, he picked up something, it's a hoodie or a bag. I don't know. Sean Early, I'm giving you a shout out. His whole thing, love them. He picked up something for me because he just thought of me. Like, honestly, like, that makes me tear up. My friend who has nothing, I put a fundraiser out and he puts $5 on my fundraiser. I'm like, you don't know, your $5 means more to me than 100 because I know you had nothing to give me.
Yeah.
And I have the chills saying it.
Yeah.
That's who I am.
Yeah.
These are the things that I'm blessed with every day. And no matter what my life looks today, like, I couldn't be living more of my best life than today through this.
Isn't it amazing that King may not be here, but how he is impacting all these people? I mean, this is a man who's not with us anymore, but he's making a difference. It just baffles my mind.
I'll tell you a quick thing. So after Dodgeball last year, we had over 300 people, Timber Creek High School, in Sicklerville. And yes, everybody wants to vape and smoke. People, you got to have them go to their cars. You know, you can't people smoke, whatever. So we're ending the day. It rained towards the end of the day. We're getting ready to leave. The food truck leaves. And my friend Scott from Enlightened Solutions, who I just always support. I love them. I love all of them there. He pulls me out and he says, Sue, come here. Now, I have a thing with, I love seeing rainbows. To me, it's just a symbol of hope in general. Love them. I will go out driving to find them after rain. And I was coming through the school doors and I knew I could see the sun. I knew it was raining. I immediately started tearing up with tears on my face because I knew what he was going to show me. And he walked me to the end of where the school building was. And not only was there one rainbow, there was a double rainbow over the school at the end of that event. And, you know, he said to me, it's your brother. And I said, but honestly, my heart didn't even go to it's my brother. I'm not like that. Do you know what I first thought of? This is, oh my God, I'm like getting such chills. It's everyone. It's all of those lost souls looking over what we just did together. They were all there with us that day. It wasn't just my brother. It's not. You know, it was something like I posted the picture and really like, there's just no words of the timing of where and when, and that symbolization. It's those little glimmers of hope that bring you tears and a smile at the same time. And I don't care how hard each day gets. I don't care how sad, how things I deal with personally with people struggling. I could wake up to a call at 6 and go to bed at 12 o'clock. I wake up every day so energized because it's all of our energy.
Yeah. And isn't it amazing? You have an army of people working down here and an army of people working up there, and your brother's leading it and you're leading it and your sister and mom down here for an amazing cause, so we don't have to lose loved ones, so they don't have to join that army just yet, you know. And you know, it's just amazing. So I just want to wrap up here real quick. Sue, thank you so much for having this, but I do want to ask the ladies if they have any other questions before I do want to ask you what your current event's going to be, and we'll get to that in a minute. But Stace or Peg-leg Beth, do you have any? I just saying now. I
just want to say thank you for coming on. I have seen you in the field. I have seen you out and around, and I really did not understand. And so I'm really glad that I got a better education on how you work and what you do. And if there's a way that we can support you, please let us know. I mean, friends in recovery, I'm sure, but you know, me personally, if there's anything I can ever do to support this cause, I'm on board. And that says a lot because I don't really like anything. So
it's true. She really doesn't like anything.
I appreciate it.
I like everything. So actually I was thinking the same thing. My mind was going, I'd love to add because currently Friends in Recovery does not have a grief group. And I have spoken with a mom that was interested in doing it, but I'd love to add in conjunction, like right now we have an eating group. Actually, we have an eating group today, but it's for body, self, and people who struggle with body dysmorphia, eating disorder, and it's in conjunction with a coach. And so I'd love to do in conjunction with Kings Crusade, host the grief group on our list of support meetings, because we're a 501c3, but our goal is education. We want to educate the families and educate the addicts and those in recovery so that they don't ever have to be in a in a spot where there is grief. So we're on the front end trying to do that, while you're on the back end trying to support them. So I think we definitely go hand in hand. So if that's good with you, I'd love to put that on there so we can support each other.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I have to second that too. You know, any way that Friends in Recovery can support Kings Crusade, if we can work together, whatever it is. Like Stacy said, we're gonna, we're on the front end, you guys are on the back end to pick the pieces up. We hopefully don't have to have the pieces fall, but we know sometimes that's going to happen, unfortunately. So it's good to have both these groups coming as allies together and stopping and picking up the piece, whatever it is, and please, let's keep talking, whatever it is, So I before we go, I want to get your latest event that you're going to do. I want you to plug the shit out of it right here, right now. And so everybody knows what the hell is going to happen next. And everybody from fucking Friends in Recovery better show up, and Sober Pod and everything. So I'm asking everybody, whatever Sue is going to talk about, I need all our Friends in Recovery to show up there or support it or whatever somehow. And Sue, I want to report back from you to see how many people from Friends in Recovery showed up. So,
well, Ed, you have to be there so that you can know if they're there.
That's true.
Exactly. So I'm hoping, so I wish I could like formally plug it. But so what I'm looking for right now is, yes, I have a bigger entity behind me that just wants to support and keep, they're like, we love what you're doing, want to do it. And if somebody else, you're getting me in a school and you're going to help me with school fees, it's more money that I can raise through sponsorship. So I am looking at a school nearby, a big school, with, again, a very big event. We're hoping for September 30th. They're going to let me know this week. They had to check sports schedules. They have to check that, like, I can do dodgeball in one of the gymnasiums. And they also want me to combine it as an expo too. So it's going to be like 2 events of like the expo and speakers and dodgeball. And I'm kind of like, yeah, but I'm going to be in dodgeball because I'm like, that's like how I roll with my people. I might have to bring my sister in for the more tame side of the expo, but come needing a haircut, come having, my friend Tom, he has an amazing iced coffee. The Beach Brew USA, I had this, they were out, a good friend of mine who was in the treatment field forever. He now has like a coffee thing he started. And let me just tell you, I had him out with his coffees. I had my friend making crystal bracelets. Like I said, we have music, people are dancing, people are walking around, they're taking photos in front of my step and repeat. And I had a red carpet, and it's just fun. Like I said, last week I did a karaoke event in Collingswood. I sometimes pop up with like, hey, it's what I want to do. I'm looking to also plan, waiting for a date from Frank from Attili's Gym in Belmar. I am going to do a strongman competition. So anybody who's into all that weightlifting, this, that, he wants to kind of put it together with veterans. We're going to be planning something there in Belmar. Again, I don't have anything yet, but it's going to be a strongman competition. And I will be making some really cool ass muscle tees with a very different logo with the barbell because, like I'm into all that. So, I mean, definitely, like sometimes things pop up. I post a lot on my private page. So if there's outreaches, I'm invited to Transit PD down in Camden, anything I do, anyone is welcome to join on, help. Come down. I don't care. I'm not somebody. I don't want to. I'm not about to compete this, that with anybody. I don't care. Like,
you just show up and have fun and enjoy life. So I'll make sure all that goes up on our website. We do have a section of on our website where we put community goings on. So everybody look for that next that next event on our website. And Sue, how can they get a hold of you and all that? So before we close, so everybody has that, and of course it'll all be in the show notes too. Yeah.
So they can find me. So my website is kingscrusade.org. There's an address, there's stuff on there. There's my main number. Like I said, the main number will ring through to somebody. If it's me or my friend Lee, shout out to Lee Loggery, work in recovery. I called him 6 a.m. yesterday. You got to help this guy for me. He's like, he's bugging out. I'm trying to make egg sandwiches. Like, here he is, give me 5. I have people like there. So Lee will be getting those calls. Most people have my cell. They can messenger me, Facebook, Sue Harrison. It doesn't matter. I don't care. Nobody's ever ever bothering me, I don't care what time it is. I'll tell, give me 5 minutes. I'll text you, message you right back. And then on, Facebook, I have a bunch of different groups, from the main Kings Crusade page, which is basically I do for community, for like just general things that I put out there. But the Kings Crusade private support group for addiction is everyone. It's families, it's recovery, it's advocates, it's people in the industry, it's things I do, it's motivating people, it's daily posts, it's everything. I have a Queens page, which is for women. I'm kind of gearing that a little more to like codependency issues and relationship issues, because I find that with almost, most women and what have you, like, let's do it. I have a squad page, which is only recovery. No families are allowed on that, nothing. And then I have the Kings Crusade grief page. But if they go on the Kings Crusade support group for addiction or my website, it has like a scroll, and it'll scroll over to all of those pages, so you can easily find and message me if anybody doesn't.
Yep. So go to the website kingscrusade.org. You'll find all that there. You'll find the how to contact Sue. Contact us on our website, on our phone number. We'll get you in touch with Sue. This is an amazing amazing story you have here. And I had no idea. I really did. I had no idea what I was coming into. I knew kind of what was going on because Stacy, but I had no clue where this was even going. So Sue, thank you so much. Thank you for all the work you do out there for the families, for the addicts, for everybody who needs it, just a support here and there, or just, just an ear to listen. And that's the important part of everything, is somebody's there, whatever time it is, whenever it hits, we got somebody to talk to. And that is really important. So Sue, thank you very much. Stacy, I appreciate you coming in and sitting in for Bambi. It's been great. And Peg-leg Beth, Strap-On Beth, or whatever you are, it's you're my rock here. And Bambi, we miss you. Everybody, your brother's in our prayers, and we hope you get back soon. And the most important part, guys, is stay sober, everybody.
This concludes this episode of Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast. Follow us on Facebook for past shows and updates, and enjoy free access to twice daily support meetings. Friends in Recovery, the Addiction Recovery Podcast, is available on Facebook, Podbean, iTunes, and YouTube 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.